So this is Dave. This is how Dave's doing vocals on this album. For some reason, him having his legs up like this. I remember he's like, dude, I found the perfect setup to do vocals. And it was this. It was having his legs up. For some, I don't know if it was compressing his diaphragm or what it was doing. I was laughing so hard. I was like, dude, I need to get a picture of this. So then, again, had the screen over here so he could see where his punch-ins are and stuff. He's got his mixer here. You got to have the coffee. Got to have a trash bin to spit into. And then we got his mic set up. So that's like the vocal setup. That's so funny. Yeah, I always take a picture of anything if we're working on anything hardware-wise. So looks like we had a rat pedal involved in the bass chain at some point, and it looks like we also have a heavy metal pedal. I just love that thing. It just sounds like chainsaws to me. Micro Tubes X Ultra. It's sick. I really like it a lot because I have the B7K Ultra. It's sitting right over there. I like it a lot, but this thing sounded really, really sick. He was using a Dingwall, and they're just great basses to begin with, but this kind of gave us some extra saturation and tone control that we really liked. Let me just go back to this rat pedal for a second. Yeah, since these pedals don't have any sort of like marker, they don't have a marker, they don't click like 10 times throughout the radius of your setting. So taking a picture and try to get, because if something gets bumped, because inevitably things get crazy in this studio, and I try to keep things organized and out of people's way, but sometimes things happen. People bump a pedal, and all of a sudden you change something. This filter can be super sensitive. The distortion too, like if you run this distortion really low, I think the pedal, especially the UAD one, works very similarly to this. Keeping it really, really low, it can do some really, really cool things to your signal. And so there's another picture of it. And then I was running this through. It looks like I'll try to name the file in a way. See, here we go. So it says Signs of the Swarm, bass settings, Dingwall, NG2, all knobs noon, active circuit engaged. So that way, let's say if the band came back to do a few more songs, which they did, we know exactly what we need to do to continue the sound that we established for the record. Normally, I will put more annotation in here in terms of what hardware I'm using, but I didn't do that. I was a bad boy. I see that the LA610 is on. I would assume I'm using, because I love using this unit and this distressor for bass tones. I love this thing. Everything about this for bass is usually pretty cool. It can be a little noisy. That's my only hesitation with using it sometimes, because there's like, I want to say there's 2 or 3, I think it's just 2 tube stages. So you have a tube band EQ, and then you have a tube preamp. It's just noisy. And then looks like I have it bypassed the optical compressor. I think I was just using the distressor. It's really hard to see. I took one with a flash. Hopefully I was good. There we go. See, I thought about it. So if you take with a flash, it's hard to see your settings here, right? In terms of which high pass filters you have engaged, which distortion channels you got engaged, what your ratio is. But yeah, I think, yeah. So this is the bass stuff. Cranked right. Okay, so I did annotate that at least, so that's good. Because it's hard to see this little knob here. Both of these little things, I don't even know what they do. It's a little blurry. I should have taken a slightly better picture of that. But yeah, if you are working with hardware, you have a phone on you at all times. Take pictures of the stuff that you're working on in case the band needs to come back and recreate that sound. That's Mike playing finger style like a psycho. So that's the Dingwall that we used. Knob fiddlers. Knob fiddlers are everybody. You play guitar, you're constantly rolling the volume up, rolling down, rolling up, rolling down. So it's just, and it'll happen where you'll roll the volume 90% of the way up, and then we get into trouble. So I'm like, nope, we're taping this. You're a knob fiddler. A little bit of Jet's Pizza with ranch, of course.
Solid piece of gear.
This is the Silky Express. So I was trying to keep Bobby motivated. So we had a peanut butter Silky. So if he did good, if he was writing good riffs, I'd lower the Silky within biting range. You know what I mean? Huh. You got to keep the troops motivated. I tell you, man, it can be a difficult process going through an album like this. So that's the bass. So this is drums, API and Neve. I pretty much always run my overheads through the first 2 channels here. I would like to run higher toms. I like on the API, lower toms. I'll just put through the Apollos preamp. I just want something clean there. Yeah, this is kick and snare. Yeah, there's that phase inverted snare. Oh, did I just use it for the right? Because we use a triggered kick. So this is the snare. So snare top, snare bottom with the inverted phase. That makes sense. And then the audient is just for extra channels like spot mics, room mic, talkback, things like that. And this nest of wires is probably for the pedals that we were using for guitar. Oh, beautiful. K hi-hats. Love K hi-hats. They're great. K crashes. Yeah, they are one of the best recording cymbals, these Ks. I love them. Dark cymbals. Really, really like them a lot. But you can kind of see, so there's like the D2s that I use in the toms. I think we used Evans, some kind of clear E2s or something. And then, yep, this is the same snare we saw in the garage. So that's the one we used on the album. But yeah, K cymbals. So this is the setup. Yep, it's literally looping a 2-4 bar section, playing it over and over and over again, getting it just right. So here is Bobby recording drums. I've since modified this setup. So they had this ring light because they were filming some stuff. I have this TV. I have this TV that I was using, running an HDMI, recording drums over here, this big baffle. Because again, this is a situation where Bobby's writing all the drums MIDI. He's running the guitar, so he's like programming drums, writing and playing guitar. And now he's like, oh crap, now I got to play this thing that I wrote in MIDI. So I'll put the MIDI there in front of him. So it's like Guitar Hero style, playing along with what he wrote. And then we'll make decisions on the fly, like, that fill doesn't really feel that well. I got something better I can play now because I just kind of scratched that in. I just wanted a quick, triplet 16-note fill. I'll actually sit down and play it properly, and then we'll kind of tweak it. So that was the idea here. I've since put in a big projector instead, which is like so much better for multiple reasons. So it just kind of descends from the ceiling now, this projector. So that way, if someone's throwing a stick, it's not going to kill the screen. And also, it's just a much bigger picture. Like it kind of encompasses the whole half of this tracking room. Yeah, it's cool. So that works. So that was, could we see cymbals? Not really. You can see a
China. That's all that matters.
There's a China here. Yeah, there's some other pictures I think we got. What's this? So this is, I think this is while we were tracking drums. Yeah, you see that? Just doing some tracking in here. But as you can see, when you go back over here, you see the it's clipping. It's constantly clipping on the Neve. I just love the way that sounds. Let's see, what is this? This is okay. So this is the guitar set. Look at that. We got two 33s piggybacked. So that's
that's a great boost pedal. I love that thing.
Yeah, and one's not enough, so we have two. I look back at some of the stuff. I'm like, man, we have a lot of fun, but we do some dumb shit. So we'll do this dumb shit. Oh, I wonder why your guitars are so crazy spiked around, 1K or 2K or whatever. Well, that might have something to do with it. So we were just laughing about that. Okay. What do we got? Okay, so here's Bobby's guitar. I don't know if you can kind of tell in chat what type of guitar that is. I can't, without the headset, it's hard to tell, right? So it's got the Evertune on it. Yeah, that thing was playing really cool. So then here's the wedge I was talking about. We got the whammy down here. We got the wah pedal. All these and things that we don't need to stop, things that we want to kind of tweak, we'll keep up here. We got the coffee going. We got another little desk here. But it's just like, this is like the guitar station. So everything he needs is like right next to me over here. Poor Bobby. He's looking so tired. He did so much. I've never seen a human being do so much tracking in a month. Yeah. Tracked all the live drums, tracked all the guitars. He didn't do the bass, but he did like pretty much everything else. Poor guy. He is just so whooped at this point. And I'm the guy screaming at him like, no, harder, dig into the strings harder.
Just 8 more takes.
Yeah, this is, what are we doing here? Oh, we're recording drum samples. Is that the snare? So that's the snare he used. I was just in my garage and we were just like recording. Yeah, I like this. I like the trashy sound in my garage. So I don't know if I ended up using that for the final drum sample or not. I'm assuming if I recorded, I did. I suffer from sunken cost fallacy too. So I'll just I have to use the sample that we recorded. So this is the snare he used, and we just made a sample of it in the garage to kind of layer over the main drums. We got that. What else we got going on? Vocals. We have, so this is a picture of Dave's mic. So this is kind of how he had his 7B set up, which is no surprise, right? Low roll off with a bit of a top boost. Makes perfect sense. What's this? Oh, and then here's the setting. Here's the vocal settings. So once again, the Neve a little bit pushed here through these things. Nuke it. Of course, I'm nuking it. And it's, pretty fast release. It's fairly fast attack. Driving the input, of course, because I want to see all these lights light up. I just, you know what I mean? I ain't get my money worth unless all the lights are lit up. And then there's probably some UAD plugins on the vocals. There's a little bit of behind the scenes stuff.